Hello there guys, and welcome to another Milk is Nice tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at doing a pretty simple but very effective text effect. So if we click this button, that disappears and we see the text is coming out of nothing, and it's quite a trendy effect at the moment. You've probably seen it on a few websites, so let's just go back. Oh no, let's go like this and have a look again. Click me now and this comes up. Okay, so without further ado, let's get coding. Okay, so I've already made the HTML and CSS for this section here, this part, which is just a basic div centered with a class of intro text and then a button underneath. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go to tween max. So let's come up here and go tween max cdn. Sorry, we're going to grab the library from here and come down, and then we want to copy the script tag, and we're going to come back and we're going to add the script tag here. I'll leave all this HTML below. I'll make a code pen for it. Okay, so what we need to do now is make the big letters. So if we come down here, and then we're gonna just give this a wrapper of something. So let's say big text, and then what we need to do is make a H1, and then inside this H1 we're gonna do a span, and I'll show you why in a minute. And let's give it a class of hide text. And then this will be our first line, so we create, and then what we do is we copy this, paste it below, and then do our second line, which is unforgettable, and then again underneath paste another one. So we're going to say, what did I put? Unforgettable moments, wasn't it? Moments, and then again last line here is and memories, wasn't it? And memories. Okay, so that's our HTML sorted. So what we've got here is we've got a H1 which we're going to give a height, and we're going to position it relatively, and then inside of this is our span with our class of hide text, which we're going to position absolutely so that we can push it down, and the H1 will have an overflow of hidden. So this will be pushed down below the H1, so you won't be able to see it, and then what we'll do is we'll animate it back up. So if we come to the CSS now, and then let's do our H1. So first of all, I'm going to give it a font family, which I've used font family of Oswald, so which is a Google font, and then we're going to go text transform uppercase, and we need to give it a position of relative, and a color of what did I put before? Hashtag FE5BD, and I've forgotten the colon. And so, like I said, now we need to give it an overflow of hidden, so we can push the span down and it hides it. And then we need to work out the font size. So obviously this is going to be different on different screens. If you want to make the text smaller, I'm going to say font size 200 pixels. So you need to use media queries. So if you were on a smaller screen, you could shrink this down. And it's the same with what we're going to do now, which is set a height for it, because what we need to do is set the height to a certain amount of pixels, so that then we can push the span underneath below those amount of pixels. So what we can say, what I've worked out with this, the font size of 200 pixels, the height we can make 250 pixels, and then this will push it down no, sorry, this won't push it down, but this will give the H1 container a height ready for the span to be pushed down. So I hope you guys sort of get that. Let's just see what we've got now. So you can see here, this is our font. We need to put a margin of 0 actually on this, or let's go margin 0. There we go. So you can see here, this is the height of the container, the H1 container, and then inside of this we've got the span. So if we were to say, so what we'll do now is we'll grab our hide text, which is, I'm going to split this so you can see this, vertical split, and then let's go for that there, and then our CSS, oh no, that there, and then our CSS on the other side. So here inside our span class of hide text, so let's go hide text, and then we're going to position absolute, and let's give it a Z index just to make sure 200 or something. Okay, so now if we push this down, so if we go like top 100 pixels, you can see it's pushing down below. So if we were going to give it a top of 250, like I said earlier, that pushes it right out of the H1 element and below it. So what we're going to do now is move on to the tweening and create some timelines. So let's open our JS file, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see this better. Sorry, that's a bit better, isn't it? Okay. So first of all we need to create a timeline. So let's go TL and then equals new timeline max, and then go like that and like that, and close that off, and then let's grab the timeline here, and then we're going to say from, isn't it? I'll explain all this in a second. So from, and oh, what am I doing here, guys? I'm messing right up. We need to grab the element first. So it was called hide text, and we're going to go like that, and then we're going to go 1.5 seconds, and we want to push it down. So sorry, let's open up our curlies, and then what we want to do is push it down first. So let's go Y 100%, and don't forget to wrap this in our quotes, and let's give it some easing. So I'm going to say ease power 4 ease out, isn't it, for this, ease out. Okay, so that should, what that will do is it will come from 100% and then push it up back to its normal state. So if we test this now, what we should see is, let's have a look. Come on. There we go, so you can see it's coming up. But what we need to do is use a stagger from now, because we want them to come up at different points. So if we change this to stagger from, and then at the end here we want to put the timings for the staggers. So I'm going to say 0.15, and now what we should see is them coming up at different times. So there, see? So that's all good. And then what we need to do is our button. We need to, so on click we're going to animate out the button and the intro text. So let's come up here, because we want that to disappear first in the timeline. So we're going to say 2, and then we're going to grab our button like that, dot button, or actually we could just say, I've given it a class, so haven't I? Did I give it a class? Let's have a look. Button, yeah, we'll just say that for now. So button, and then let's go 0.3, and then what we need to do is take the opacity down because we want it to go to 0, and then that's okay, and then underneath that we want our let's come back, so we've got our intro text here which we need to animate out. So let's come back, where are you, here, and let's go underneath, and we can copy this actually. Let's duplicate this line, and then we're going to grab intro text, and it's the H2, and we can go opacity 0, and let's see what happens now. So come back, there we go, so they disappear. So now what we need to do is make it work so that it's paused to start with, because we don't want it all to run until we've clicked our button. So what we can do is we can come up in here, and inside our curlies we can write paused and then say true, and that will pause it. So if we come back here, we can see there's no animation going on now. So let's come back, and then we need to make our button work. So let's go document dot query selector, there it is, and we're going to grab our button. So let's go button, button, so that will grab our button, and then we want to add event listener, yeah, and then we want to say it's a click, and then we are going to come down here. Oh, what am I doing? Down here, so click, and then after this we want to say let's animate, because we're going to make a function now, and let's come down here and create our function. So we're going to go function let's animate, is that all right? Yeah, and then we're going to open our curlies, and then we want to go TL to grab the timeline, and then dot play, and this should hopefully now play on the button click. So let's just come back and see if this all works. Click me now. No, what have I done? Let's inspect. Unexpected token, so where have I put that? Oh, there. We need to go like that. There we go, and then we can remove this one and this one. Sorry guys, that was a... Oh, we've got another one there we don't need. Okay, so hopefully now it should work. So let's come back and take another look again. Click me now. There we go, and then it animates up. So let's have another look. Let's refresh. Like this. There we go, guys. And I think I mentioned earlier about, you know, if it's responsive, you'd need to go into your CSS, and on your media queries you would have to obviously adjust the font size and the height for different screens. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this. If you don't forget to like and subscribe and all that malarkey, and thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, bye.